strike them with the forearm or with the knife part of the hand.
So it is still the right foot forward, isn't it? Yeah, and it's the that hand.
So yeah, right foot forward here. Then it's turning. Feet come together, and then we step.
So is it? It's right. So it's the right foot comes forward to match the left foot. Yeah.
Yeah. Now turn for you would be counterclockwise. Yep, that's it. Now from there, keep your feet together, that both heels together. Yep, and your back foot's pointing directly away from me.
It's all right. There's a rabbit cage there. I don't want to.
All right. So your right foot is pointing directly to the wall. You've got all your photos on.
Yep.
You've made an L shape with your feet. Now, when your left foot steps forward, that's when you do the shoot hop. Bang. Same time. Exactly the same time.
So hold on.
Yeah.
So the left foot's going down and that's going.
Exactly the same time. That's it. And the stance itself is a bit difficult because it's a Shotokan posture. It's Kokutsdachi. So 70% of the weight's on the back leg. So you're not fully committing to the strike.
I've still got the back leg like I was doing a. Yeah, because the cat stance is the back leg.
It's like a cat stance except longer and with the heel down. And the way we test it is we get people to put their hands on our front hip and try and force us back with all of their strength like a rugby tackle. And if your posture is correct, you need no physical exertion on your behalf. They cannot move you.
Yep, so this back leg's canted.
Correct. That's the bent leg. So in front stance, the front one's really bent. In back stance, the back one's really bent. And the front knee is just unlocked.
Yeah, it's like it's.
No, you don't kick from back stance. It's too long a stance. Yeah, if you can kick off the front foot, basically your stance isn't long enough.
Yeah. This is the Shorin-ryu way, though.
Yeah.
Is a shorter stance. But yeah, the weight's still on the back leg.
Yeah, that's it. So what's happening there is with your front arm, if you just have a look at my arm, rather than having it straight where someone can slide in here and make it a downward chopping motion, there's a rotation. There's a rotation where it comes from the ear and it is travelling down, but it stops just lower than your shoulder, and there's still almost this 90-degree bend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if we let that leave the body too much, you don't get that anatomical alignment, and this is a frame to keep someone at bay.
Triangulation.
So someone's trying to
see if I get this right. Bang. So this is a position I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a step
Come
up.
together. Yep. Sit on the spot like I call the kids. Tell the kids like a ballerina. Yep.
Down.
Step out and block. Beautiful.
Then.
Bang. Yep.
And then that has to be the elbow there.
That's it.
Is
Mate.
this...
And just turn your palm slightly away from yourself. So it's just slightly. So you might be saying stop slightly. That turn there, it generates incredible amount of power.
So it's like a slap.
Big amount of power.
It's effectively like a slap from the ear as well as a spear, yeah?
Yeah. You've got all those options like as in the Hanchi, you've got the backhand there. So in the Hanchi, you're absolutely headhunting. With this one here, you're more going forward the shoulder, the neck, and you're trying to keep the torso against this part here. So if the torso presses towards you, the torso is then forced downwards.
Mm-hmm. Am I right though? This hand should be under here.
Yeah. So as far as alignment's concerned, what I normally tell people is get as if I've got a really straight stick that goes through my tip of my finger, goes through my wrist, through my elbow, and if done correctly, that stick should hit where my belt is. And my fingers should be pointing towards the eye of my opponent. If I do this, the see the stick go straight through my wrist into the ground, so that's
Yeah.
incorrect. If I do this, the stick goes through my arm and back to my armpit and misses my belt. So I want that when it exits my elbow.
Yeah, so that's here.
And then that's where you get that fist distance here.
And then where's this hand?
It just sits on top of your navel, this way. Ordinarily, you would have it right back here, but because Kokutsu's really, see how side turned on I am? So that's why this hand comes further forward than what it would normally. Normally it'd sit back here, but in Kokutsu, it comes forward.
Right.
So you've seen this posture here from Choki Matobu, this sort of thing. So if you actually look at this, once again, it's crossover between, so many different postures. It's so similar.
Whether it's that or that.
Yep. That would just the slightest alteration, and you're doing the very, very similar motor skill. So that the actual setup for the UK itself is actually your backhand that does the guarding or the finding of your enemy. So this hand here is essentially, if you can think of, I'm covering my face and my throat with my own elbow. Okay, so someone's attacking, I'm doing this. The next thing I'm doing is I'm surging forward with this backhand, trying to make contact with them, perhaps contact with their eyes. So when I make that contact, I then use this hand to just touch whatever I need to, then straight away I'm in distance for this next one. Yep. So if I do the turn, here, I'll go this way, make sure I'm in shot. So here I am here, I do the turn, my fingers are the first thing, I'm making contact.
So
there's my shit.
It's like that, and then
and I'll tell you one of the reasons why we made this our second kata is because when you're from a style that does predominantly goju, it's not moved.
no. So the way we do shikadachi in our style, it is with the legs apart, the toes pointing out. It's not the
So this kokutsu is still, this is about forward movement, so it's 30-70 as far as weight distribution is concerned.
Yeah.
It's very, very, to put it into context, like I said, any shuri style, I like to put that bodyguard spin onto it. So it's not necessarily a position that I'll use big mobs to, if I'm just worried about me. But what it's really good for me to do is enable me to attack something over here, but also keep my center slightly back where I'm protecting someone else.
Yep.
Whereas if there was no one there, I would project everything forward and I wouldn't give a damn about what's over here.
Yeah. I suppose for me it's a case of when you do the opening, the natural thing for me is to step out like that and then to turn.
Back, yeah.
But is that the right stance?
No dramas with that. That's what we all do when we're learning it. It's
The principle of it, as opposed to moving your whole body, moving the foot.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you do that, as opposed to doing that.
Yes.
Yeah. So sliding the.
So you're camouflaging it with your arms up here. So if I just move my foot, you're gonna see the foot. You're gonna react to the foot. But what's happening is I'm doing a lot of stuff up here, which you tend to focus on more than what's happening down here.
So it's the way you blade essentially to move the front foot into their space to generate the power with the back hand or the front hand.
Yeah, and the other thing too is you're looking tie sparky too. So here's my center line. So if I move my back foot this way, I'm now offline. If I move my front foot this way, I'm now offline. So it's a very, very sneaky thing. So remember
We're doing a hanchi, it's in horse stance, or as you call it, kibadachi.
Yeah.
Yeah? We're doing a hanchi, it's in...
The hanchi-dachi, which is more natural, absolutely.
Which is not that different to sanchin dachi. In fact, essentially, the body mechanics are just about the same, just the angle you're taking at somebody. But the actual stance, the outside, as you put it, the outside leg protection, the actual stability of the stance doesn't vary from Goju to, you know, from Naha to Shurite. It's the same basic stance. Just that bang, then and then the transmit, bang. You know, so that's, you know, what my idea was. And then obviously once you've got to here, see that one? Yeah, and it's bang. That's about as far as I got.
Yeah, mate, that's fine. You're doing the right thing. That's what I encourage everyone to do is take their kata. They might learn it like, say, dance sequence.
Somebody attacks you from behind, into them.
Let's not think of the 52 attacks we've got in our kit bag. Let's just think of the theme. I have to respond. So
the northern, it is long stances, like you've got a halberd or something. It's a lot of advancing. It's a lot of big, you know, sweeping motions, like you've got a weapon in your hand. Whereas the southern styles are much more close in some respects. You know, they still involve taking space, but not in the long stances. They're a lot shorter stances and a lot more natural from what I've seen from the document.
Then I've really got to start looking at, well, if I live side on, I can actually manipulate my partner, my opponent.
But the Nahanshi drill, the first one we do, is like crash, bang, 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 grasp,
Nice.
bladed.
You turn this back, you're limiting yourself to this. So what you've done is you have squared up. Not completely square, but you have squared up, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, and but that's how we train. That's
Foot right through your back foot, and pick a point, and I think it's over near Mr. Rabbit there. Okay, so you missed the point where it should have ended up. So
I'm there.
yeah, right through. Yes, their turn. Brilliant. Except don't try and step so long. Step more across. Yep. So you're drawing a line from your front foot through your back foot over to the rabbit cage, and step across, then turn. Now, see, you didn't quite make that rabbit cage. You're actually stepping on the diagonal. That's what we're trying to do.
Better?
Have another go. Yeah, that's it. Except when you turn, probably don't step out as much because you're actually leaving your foot in front of your knee. I'll try and get a longer stick, mate, so just so I can show you. I've got one here. What's a mop? So wait, maybe do it this way. So the front of the mop, this thing here, is on my front foot. The mop is touching my back toes. So it's going on a diagonal line. Where the end of the mop is, that's where this foot has to go. So it's not too far away behind me, but I step back and across, and I just put my foot there. So I haven't really stepped very deep. Now when I turn, I'm automatically in the front stance, and my front knee is protecting, my knee is over my toes, protecting my front knee. There you go. Brilliant.
So,
Yep, just stand in front stance. Okay, now bring that bow across so it's like going from one foot to the next. That's it, and then slide it back so it goes back a little bit further away from your back foot. So towards the rabbit cage, and it should actually be touching your back heel. No, slide it across so it touches your back heel. No, not the heel towards the stick.
So I'm trying to do this so I've got room to do it.
That's all right. Now, don't take a really big step backwards, but make sure you pivot on that back foot and place your front foot near where the bow is behind you. So bring your feet together, place it, then turn into stance and push your front knee forward. Turn and push your front knee forward. So turn towards the back and push your front knee forward. So what happened there, mate, is when you stepped, okay, you've stepped and you've turned, but you haven't rotated your body fully around. What I mean is you need to turn around and push that knee forward. So that way you're actually in that solid position. So from here we step, and we turn, and then push this hip forward, and now we're in that solid position. Yep, push your hip forward, back hip forward, and square your chest up towards the pitches. There. Now push the knee forward. Beautiful. That's it. That's it. So you can see now you're just stepping on the diagonal. You're now stepping beautifully onto that line and you're now coming back into a solid position.
So that back leg isn't straight. It's canted slightly.
That's one of those things. Does it need to be straight? Doesn't it need to be straight? There's pluses for and against. When I'm practicing it, I straighten it. In application, if it's bent, it gives me more speed. It gives me some springiness for what I need to do.
So when I see you doing the kata, yeah?
Yeah.
That's usually bent.
I'm trying to, once I get in a position, I try to lock it in, then it unlocks the movement.
It's like this turn. That in itself doesn't look thing, but the fact is if you've got somebody and then you...
Yeah, you're wrapping them around your stationary leg. With this one though, you're pulling them through a point to put them over there. That's it.
Yeah. So it's always the back leg that's a pivot.
Nice.
The front leg moves, yeah?
The other thing you can do too, mate, if you just play this game, get Brendan to do it, you probably like doing it. You can actually get him, when you're in front stance, to stand directly behind you and place a fit that this is going to hit you every time.
So by doing that...
Yep, as long as you keep your axis straight. So if you have a look where if I use this stick again, so here's my axis.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, again, one of the versions of Mahanchi is that down, push away to deflect, and then open up the back. You know, but it's that step off line.
Absolutely.
Whichever way, step off line to open up. Years ago, I realised that actually the less you did, the worse it got. You know, doing the physio, I mean, just doing this kind of thing helps the back, you know. So when it's hurting, I actually do that. It hurts.